Hey kids, it's Jurassic James, and on this Jurassic James Explains, we're talking Indominus Rex. Because, so the idea here is, um, I know it's not a real dinosaur, but it's out there and people know it, and there's more toys being made, so I thought I should just tell you my thoughts. Same would apply in general with oldest, the newest, like that. And what led to this video was I was doing a tour, and I asked a kid what's their favorite dinosaur, and usually it's T-Rex, Velociraptor, Stegosaurus, right? The same old group. And a little boy goes, Dominus Rex. I said, okay, cool. He goes, do you have one here? And I said, well, no, because they're not like real. He's like, what do you mean? I said, well, in the movie they tell you that they took real dinosaur DNA and real dinosaur, and they made the Indominus Rex from that. So it's entirely made up. There was no animal that it was based on. They took other dinosaurs and like made it up. And he goes, so it's not real? I said, no, it's not real. It doesn't exist. And he goes, so do you have one at the museum? And I'm like, no, we don't put fake dinosaurs. So anyway, the point is this with Indominus Rex. So there's a debate in my mind, at least, that which is the worst sin in Jurassic Park franchise, to take a dinosaur that really exists and give it fake traits, or to just make up one. Case in point, the Dilophosaurus, the little double crested animal with the neck frill, it didn't have that. The neck frill had the crest. That was true. But the idea is that I think I'd personally rather they take a real dinosaur and just like make up stuff about it that I can debunk my tours or classes than to just make up an entirely new species that's not real. I don't know. I'll think about it more. But the first one we have here is the original Indominus Rex. Now, what I thought was interesting was that one, if you let's see, what was the action here again? Nope. It was, what did you do again? I forgot. I don't see the sky very often. Oh, that was it. Okay. So you pull the arm, and it lights up because it changed color, camouflage. Now, in canon, it was part T-Rex, part Velociraptor, and I think they had a cuttlefish and like four other things. And I mean, that's his own story, and someone on the internet has that all lined up. I don't want to commit memory cells to that, but the idea is that it's a bigger predator. Now, the first thing I want to point out is that it has these kind of like feather structures, which is it was good to see feathers in Jurassic World, but the crests are not uncommon. In fact, many pterodinosaurs have a crest or over their fenestra, the hole right there in the skull. The hands have 4 fingers, and that's really weird because assuming it were a real dinosaur, theropod predatory dinosaurs have usually 3 digits or less. They lose them. Their ancestors had 5. Every tetrapod on land had 5, and they lose them going in. So they have like 3 like that. Now they are palm to palm, so I'll give them credit for that. But the idea is that the only ones that have like a 4th digit would be Coelophysis or Dilophosaurus. They actually had like that vestigial little 4th nub, but they weren't clawed. They just had 3 clawed fingers. And I know Carnotaurus, I believe, and the other Belosaurs have little tiny fingers, and they have like little nubs. But having a forceful like hand with a opposable thumb, that's different. But again, movie. The feet, general theropod feet, 3 toes in the front. I think they do claw on the sides. That's pretty cool. The one thing, the continuous complaint I have for all these toys, their tails are too small. Even though it's all made up, the tail should be bigger like that. It should be longer to help balance the animal, and the muscle attachments from the leg to the tail. But again, packaging's a thing, so I get it. And this one has a rubbery skin and like a hard body here for the most part. But again, because the tail is not like proper, it can't stand really, and you have to put it like down like that. So that's the Indominus Rex, the first version from I think it was Mattel, if I remember correctly. So at the dollar store, like Family Dollar, my wife found one of these for me. That's kind of cool, and I was gonna unbox it because because it's kind of neat to look at, and it's hard to do that. So the idea here is, tiny tail. Packaging is king. So what you're seeing, basically, same body plan. The hands like that, palm to palm. I can't get too mad at that. Their hands are proper. But the huge head, giant feet for balancing. I wonder if it stands properly. And it does. It stands really well, actually. Impressively well. Anyway, so the next one we have is this guy here, which is really fun because behind the scenes story. So Jurassic World comes out with a Mosasaurus figure, and I am super excited. I told my wife I really want it for her birthday, Christmas, one of the things. The torso is too short, but I'm like, I want it because it's a Spinosaurus. It's a giant Mosasaur at the collection. And then she orders it in. It's shipped in to us in about, I want to say a week later. I see online that they have the submarine. Let's see, in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, one of the opening earlier shots was of a submarine like this going down and getting Indominus bones. So what happens basically is they go down there to get a sample to take back to clone it, right? And the Mosasaur is there. So they have a kit where it's this skeleton, a Mosasaur, and a submarine. And you're saying, but Jurassic James, you already had a Mosasaur. What's going on? So I see the thing. I go, oh, I want it. So now I have two Mosasaurs because why not? Why not? So anyway, the skeleton comes along. So like I said, it's a skeleton of a Indominus Rex. I must say that I'm super impressed by this. I mean, maybe because I spend a lot of my day, well, not a lot of it, I spend my time sometimes looking at skeletons that you can see like all the major bones. It's really exciting. So, of course, it's your skull, your dorsal vertebrae, cervical vertebrae, the neck, dorsal, sacral, caudal, the tail, the ilium, ischium, pubis. Their femur's pretty clear. The tibia is right there. And you can see, like, they have a little notch where the fibula is a separate bone. And then on the arm, you have your scapula, your humerus, your ulna, and your radius. So that gives a little notch there to show that they're different. The cervical ribs, actual ribs, they kind of make it all one piece here, the coracoid of the scapula. But overall, and the hands have the carpal, metacarpal, and phalanges. Metacarpal and phalanges. Toes are the tarsals right here, the phalanges right there, claws. The skull and the head, we have the nares, the nose hole, the anterorbital fenestra, the orbit, the eye hole, the lateral fenestra right there. The jaw's articulated. So it's actually a pretty decent model, actually. It's really cool. And a little dew claw, the hullus right there, the first toe. That's really cool, too. But anyway, so that was neat. And I wasn't super excited about getting this. I wanted the submarine for my collection, but, not that bad. And then Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom comes out, and they're coming out with all these Indominus Rex figures, and you're seeing this guy here. And this one has the grabbing, and then if you put a toy in there, you can get the crunching noise like that. Now, I do like the fact that the toes are really spread out like that to stand up really well. And the tail is not that big, but it balances well. So the main thing I want to tell you about Indominus Rex for me is that in predatory dinosaurs, you have your Tyrannosaurs, you have the Dromaeosaurs, the Raptors, you have the Spinosaurs, you have the Allosaurs, all these different theropods. They have certain looks to them. The Abelisaurs, the southern bulldog dinosaurs, with the short noses. But Indominus is hard to look at for me. Like when I look at the animal on screen, because it's kind of like how when you see a clown and your brain's like, it's a human, but then your brain's like, it's kind of different because the shapes are kind of, So for me, when I look at the Indominus, like the features don't look like other dinosaurs. I can see whether the animators or creators or modelers were making the thing, but my training looks at the skull and I can't fit it in. I can't fit and it shouldn't. It's a mutant kind of mutation. So it's a hybrid. So the idea is that it's just really weird. And it's kind of like how for people who are older and remember the original Frankenstein movies and books, like the way they depict the Frankenstein monster, how it's like it's human, but it's like different. That's kind of how I feel about the Indominus Rex in general. But again, it's out there in the zeitgeist. Everyone knows it. Kids love it because it's a big thing. And I remember asking a friend of mine, a tour guide who's better with children than I am, and I said, why is it that I'm telling them that this doesn't exist, but they're committing to it? And she was like, well, it's because children, when you're a certain age, you don't understand real and not real, and your brain sees it on TV, so therefore it's real. And I'm like, which brings me back to the point of like, is it better to take a real dinosaur we know and give it weird features, or is it better to just like mix them up? And that's why I lean towards give the real thing weird features, because they're at least making Dilophosaurus toys. They're, I think they did a video already on Dilophosaurus, but now they're making Indominus Rex figures, and like that could have been. It's not gonna go to Hobby Lobby or Michaels and they have the dragon figures, and I'm not gonna discredit dragons. I get they're popular in the fantasy world, but like to me, the plastic and paint and effort used to make a fictional creature, they could have made some obscure dinosaur that no one ever heard of. That's like way cooler to me that really existed. But that's my personal opinion. That's why it's my YouTube channel. But the idea of the Indominus Rex, I'd rather they have made like a Giganotosaurus or something and just gave it weird features than make a whole new thing. Because now I have these weird creatures in my collection that I have to put them somewhere. I mean, even followed up by the Indoraptor, which is, I have one here, and then the little bitty group pack one like this. And it's like now, these things are not real dinosaurs, and it's not like they can cosplay as a different predator. They're what they are. They're Holocene, non-avian dinosaurs kind of thing. So that's my thought on Indominus. It's like I don't hate it or anything. I see the progression that Jurassic Park 1 had a T Rex, and Part 2 had two T Rexes, and Part 3 had Spinosaurus. They had to up the game. This is a movie franchise. And then Part 4, you just make up a dinosaur, So I get with executive input why, but it's kind of a weird thing because and again, I interact with a lot of children when I'm teaching, so that's why this is more my doorstep than most paleontologists. But the idea is that this is an interesting creature that I don't, it's just weird, and here it is. So I wanted to do a video where I just talk about this thing, because it's just interesting that this is a thing that happens, and Indominus Rex it's. I'll say one last thing though. I don't like how she was treated, and what I mean is, with the Indominus Rex, it's this monster. It's this bad thing. But the thing is, it's, as even Owen said in the movie, like they isolated it growing up, and then it ate the other sister. But yeah, birds do that too sometimes. But the idea is that they isolate it. It has no social interactions. It's not sure what the world is. It breaks out. It's trying to examine what the world is. And it's juxtaposed that the T-Rex kills things, but he's going to eat them. The Indominus is just killing Apatosauruses left and right. But the idea is that and there's this idea when the fight scene between Rexy and Indominus. I get it. It's the vintage. We all love it. Real dinosaurs, and blues there. But in general, I just think it's weird that they would do that. Because it just gets killed by Mosasaur. Spoiler alert. It just killed by Mosasaur, and it's like, okay, it's not her fault she was this made-up creature. It's not her fault. It's not like Anakin Skywalker where he was led to the dark side or he was tricked into it or he took a certain stuff. This animal, it was just what it was, and it was trying to explore its world, and it didn't understand it was a top predator, and it's like it's kind of like when people say that kid's bad. That it's like, no, the kid is not given any boundaries. They don't understand these certain things. They are not taught this way. It's not their fault. They're just living the environment, Same thing with the Indominus Rex. So I kind of, in her defense, I feel like it's kind of weird that it was just this bad monster that had to be destroyed or beaten up by the classic dinosaurs. And, granted, it did some horrible stuff in the movie, but it's just that was weird to me. And I just think that was cool. That's in its defense, I feel sorry for the creature in that way. But overall, for what it is, it's like, why? So I know they said they will stop doing hybrids in the movies, but then in Jurassic World, Camp Cretaceous, they have like the Scorpionyx thing, Scorpio whatever. Now Scorpionyx is a real dinosaur. The Scorpion Rex, something like that. I'm not probably gonna buy that one because it's just we have enough hybrid dinosaurs. I never got into Chaos, the toys back in the '90s because I like the real figures. That's why I like about what they're doing now. No, sorry, Hasbro did this one. Mattel did this one. And Mattel's making all these different dinosaurs. Now, are they super accurate? Not really, but they're, Troodon and Majengosaurus and all these. So I'm excited about that personally. So anyway, I'm going over and too long, but Indominus Rex is a thing. It's out there. Appreciate it, or not. But I just wanted to go over it because these are the hybrids. They're a thing that happened and people love them. Kids love them. But I'm going to be, and like the movie, I'm going to only be doing real dinosaurs from now on. That being said, I will see you next week. I actually moving, so you're going to, in the new place, you'll see my figures better. So look forward to that. And thank you very much. I'll see you guys later. And goodbye.